On today's episode of PJ and the Beard, we're going to be taking a look at the updated versions of some pedals we previously looked at from Scattered Abroad Guitar Works. There's 3 of them, and the Beard's going to talk about the first one.
Yeah, first one, the Angry Alpaca. I love his names.
They're great.
Yeah, the Angry Alpaca, the Fuzzy Fox,
And the Hungry Panda.
and the Hungry Panda.
I looked
There's
up-
another one coming out that we can't mention. But
Right. And I looked it up. I was trying to think, what do you call a group of alpacas? Well, it's boring. It's a herd. But when we had an alpaca, now we have alpacas. Is it alpaca? Like, is it? How does that work? I was hoping it would be a cool name for a group of alpacas, but it's a herd. So we're building the herd here. We're not thinning the herd. We're actually increasing the herd.
Right. Every Craigslist ad
Yes,
you ever read.
thinning the herd.
Thinning the herd. That said.
Yes.
So I think what we're going to do in this video is look at face value of these, compare the 2 Angry Alpacas, compare the 2 Hungry Pandas, maybe something special with the Fuzzy Foxes at the end. Compare these 2, maybe play a little bit with them. Compare the next 2, maybe play a little bit with them. I have my 2000, might be a 2000.
If I said 7, would that be wrong?
Yeah, I think it's newer than that. Maybe 14.
Okay.
Maybe. It says 14 here at the top. Oh, wait. I can tell you it's the 60-year anniversary model.
There you
All right. So, Strat, and I specifically playing the Strat for Rhylan from
Scattered Abroad.
Scattered Abroad. He gives me a lot of grief over that. So,
You've been heard.
punny. Let's jump into them. I think, real quick, the white one's the first one.
Yes.
Got a volume and fuzz or whatever, it's not labeled. The second one, we have a volume, but now we have a gain knob on top.
Right.
And if we opened it up on the inside, there's 2 trim pots. One's for fuzz, one's for bias. And so you can turn the bias down and get it kind of spitty. And we might come back to that in another episode today. Face value, how does the new one, without turning trim pots, stack up or sound compared to the old one? And before you start twisting knobs, the gain knob is kind of different, right? It's kind of backwards.
Yeah. Because you would think when you turn to the right, you get more gain, more fuzz, brighter attack.
Mm-hmm.
Here, you start on the left is where you get all of the wooliness, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's a little darker. It's woolly on that end. And as you turn it up, it thins out. It doesn't get thin sounding, but it thins out. It tightens up the sound a little bit.
Right.
Now that I've described it horribly, you'll get to hear it. But through the magic of the JHS switchback with the red remote.
I can probably give you the red remote.
Yeah, look, I'm in control. I get to push a button, so now this video has officially come to a crashing halt when I'm in charge of something.
We should have thought of that beforehand.
We should
Okay.
have. That's okay.
All right, so here's the button.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just where they're at. Volume's most of the way up. We have the fuzz on the old, which is called ordinal. On the old one, almost all the way up. But if you go any higher than that, you start to get that weird thing that these fuzzes do. These are both at their heart. You thought we were going to play, didn't you? At their heart,
Silly people.
both 2 transistor BC108 chips. Is it a chip? It's not a chip. BC108 resistors, whatever.
Yes, one of those. I keep thinking pots, circuits. You
Something.
caught me off guard. I was.
You fuzz people.
Yeah.
So let's just start on the old pedal, and then we'll switch to the new.
So I'm going to try to be obvious with my clicks. If it's not obvious enough when he edits, he may highlight the pedal that is being used. But right now it's on this side.
All right, so this is old. So real quick, thing that jumps out at me.
Mm-hmm.
We have the volume about the same spot.
Right.
More headroom on the new one. I mean, that's... I feel like you got a lot.
At the same, roughly what we could tell, eyeball the same setting. Yes.
Yeah. More headroom, it seems like, on that one. Not really a fair comparison because, remember, that knob on the top is different. They're not the same. This knob and that knob aren't the same.
Right.
So internal guts are different. Controls are a little bit are the same. Like based on that same BC 108, I think it is. Two transistors. It's a transistor. But those knobs are different now. So I think what we're going to do now is just kind of focus here and let Pat kind of run through the knobs. Right? You'll turn the volume, whatever. Turn the gain, whatever. I'll try to play some single note stuff, some chords. Maybe I'll start with the chord thing again, just to get a flavor of what's going on sound-wise there. But yeah, the new one, it's more versatile.
Yes.
Because really, so why aren't we turning the knobs on the old one? Because that's the setting on the old one. Mm-hmm. Crank the fuzz as high as you can get it, turn the volume way up.
Right.
And it sounds great. Mm-hmm. This one, I think you get some more room to play around. And
I believe my partner called it sculpting one time.
Sculpting.
You can sculpt a little bit more. Rhylan gave you a little bit more clay to work with than sculpting over here.
Right. So if you hit the red remote over there, I'll start playing. You can turn knobs.
It's over and here. So when I turn the gain, I might
You're
just...
on that side. Oh, no, you're not.
No, I'm there.
Yes, it's not on.
I might go like maybe a quarter at a time. You should be able to see what I'm doing here. But here we go. So hopefully you heard what that knob does compared to my very bad description. But you could really hear, like, it's really fat and woolly here. And as you got around noon and then around 2, it just tightened up. It didn't get shrill. It didn't lack sustain. It just kind of tightened up the sound a little bit, I thought. And
did you lose maybe a little bit of volume?
Maybe I was associating that with low end, but it could have been a little bit of volume.
Why don't we do real quick the extremes? Like, I'll play the chord thing and then go all the way to the other side, and then maybe I'll switch to some single notes and go all the way back. Just the two extremes of it.
All right, you want to start on the left? You want to start here?
That's fine.
Okay. So I tried to land in Switzerland as you were playing, and I'm the king of bad analogies. I felt like when the knob went all the way to the right, you could have been playing for the Rolling Stones. There was that clarity in those chords and then kind of that sus-ish chord. And then when you're on the left, move over, Jimmy's taking over. Yeah. You know, it gets just fuzzy, just kind of gnarly on the left, really fat and full. But the other didn't lose its sustain. It just was. There's a clarity all the way to the right that I didn't think I would like.
I think I'm wrong, too, when I said it lost volume.
I think it was a tonal thing.
I think honestly. It was. Because when we played, so the clip that you're about to see of us doing a quick little jam with this, when I turned it all the way to the other side during that, I did reach down and goose the volume, thinking that maybe we lost a little bit of volume. Or feeling like I lost volume, but I think you're right, it's tonal. Lost low end.
I thought you just wanted to be louder.
No, I mean, more loud is better, right? More loud is good.
Louder is good.
All right, so let's check out a clip.
Yeah.
Little jam with the Angry Alpaca. That was the Angry Alpaca.
Now we're going to move to another section of the zoo where there's maybe a kinder, gentler animal. You know it. You love it. It's the panda. This one's hungry, though, so it's unpredictable at times. You don't know what you're going to get. And maybe it needs a Snickers bar.
So, the first thing I want to say, and we didn't mention it in the first round with the Angry Alpaca, but the new design, just pedal design, aesthetic-wise, looks great. Yeah. So, the pink case with the alpaca on it. Now we have the yellow case with the Hungry Panda on it. I really like the design of the original, but they look great, especially that red knob on the yellow.
That and the new logo around the switch.
Right. So some cool stuff happening there. Again, this pedal inside is pretty true to the original, but there's been some tweaks to it. And we thought the tweaks made to the Angry Alpaca made it much more versatile. I think we feel the exact same way about this. So let's start with the original. It has, both of them have a volume, both of them have a knob and a switch. Okay. The switch on the original would, one side has a lower gain bright overdrive tone, while the other side would have a much fuzzier, more saturated. We really thought when we did this originally, I think we said when we did it, it's pretty subtle.
Right.
So let's, I guess, let you play a little bit. Where's my roadmap?
Right.
Let you play a little bit. I'll maybe move that switch back and forth, maybe move that green knob around a little bit, just so we get an idea of what the original Hungry.
Yes. Hangry. It's angry now.
The Hungry Panda. The Hungry Panda sound like.
95 PRS standard. I'm confused with the standard or custom. Dragon pickups, bridge, pretty wide open.
I still think it's pretty subtle, but I feel like with those, that guitar has really hot pickups in it, and it really pushes. I feel like you can hear it more with that guitar.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the original. Now we're on to the new Hungry Panda. This one, let me just real quick, I sent a message over to Rhylan and said, okay, tell us about what you did here. So he says, the heart of them was very much the same. It's based off an electro distortion. So the original Panda had a volume and tone switch that added a capacitor at the output to rub off some highs. That switch has been taken away and replaced with a clipping to switch or toggle between an asymmetrical germanium diode Hungry side and a symmetrical LED silicon clipping on the stuff side. Mm-hmm. So something very different is happening over here with the switch.
Right.
There is also on the inside, like the Angry Alpaca, there's a trim pot. And the trim pot on the inside is a gain control. And it makes a big impact on the tone, so he encourages messing. And we might come back to this in the future and mess with that. But tonight, just kind of looking at the new products, the new line, and how it's the same or different from the old one. Okay. So should we start? We'll start on the Hungry side.
Mm-hmm.
There. Do you want to do some single note kind of stuff? Mm-hmm. Difference.
There is, and I like the song the Stuffed Panda was singing. I think I like them both. On the MK2, I suppose. Mm-hmm. I liked both of the toggle switches positions, but I really thought the stuffed one for some of the lead cut through a little bit more. Really kind of drove the level of the dispatch master as well. I don't know. It had a tonal characteristic to it that I liked. That I thought had a singing characteristic.
So, I mean, and I really like one knob pedals. One knob on the switch.
Right.
if or when we come back to this, I think one of the things that we would want to try with it is stacking it with some other drives. Never been a big fan of the stacking idea, right? Never really got it because I always felt like things started to collapse on top of each other when you stack too many things. But with a drive like this, and it kind of reminds me, I've been using the EQD speaker cranker. I don't think the topology is the same.
Right.
The circuit's the same, but in any way, shape, or form, not that I know of. Maybe Rhylan could comment below, but that idea of having this kind of, there's some drive in there, but there's a lot of clarity in there.
Yeah.
So if you had another overdrive after it or another fuzz after it and kind of pushed it a little bit with that, it could be pretty. Mm-hmm. It could be pretty interesting. So if we come back to it, I think, I'd like to try that out. Stack it with something.
Right.
It's almost it's weird. It's almost an unfair comparison when you put them side by side. Because the original ones we thought were good.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. I think there was things that Rhylan wanted to change. Maybe he wanted to explore. Maybe make them a little bit more versatile. Almost versatile.
Mm. Well, and I think there's more headroom in both. So immediately they're louder. So immediately they're more good.
Yes,
right?
So,
versatility aside, they're louder. They're more good. So there's a little bit of that feeling for me. It's like when you click between the two, you're like, oh, wow, listen to that.
Yeah, it opens up. It feels like it opens up a lot more.
So we have all three of the old ones, which we might do something special with in the future, and I think that's all we'll say.
Right. Stay tuned.
The only one we haven't touched on is the Fuzzy Fox. Here's the original Fuzzy Fox. The original Fuzzy Fox. And then the new Fuzzy Fox. So again, it really looks good.
Yeah, it does.
It really looks good. So we thought this circuit to my knowledge, hasn't changed. So instead of A, B, and back and forth, I was thinking we could just get out of this with a Fuzzy Fox off. Let's plug both in. You take one, I'll take one.
Right.
And see what happens. The question is, I know which one you want.
I want the pretty one.
That's the pretty one.
I want the foxy one.
I'm giving him the foxy one. Before we get a Fuzzy Fox off,
right,
this would be a good time for us just to pause, say thank you for watching. Thanks for clicking the subscribe button, hitting the notification bell, clicking likes, leaving comments down below, going out to Instagram or Facebook. Anytime you interact with the show, it really helps us out and helps make this kind of stuff possible, and so that's really helpful. Check out the website down below. We have a lot of our series and stuff posted there to make it really easy for you to watch. Merchandise like cool t-shirts and some other stuff, so love to see you there. And I believe, with the exception of the Fuzzy Fox off and maybe some special pedals with it, I believe.
I'm PJ on behalf of the Beard, reminding you, no matter what you hear, you never have too much gear, especially when they're animals with various dispositions and levels of hunger.